Hello and welcome to It's All About You, the best show about you on the internet. I am B. Dave Walters, writer, talk radio host, web video host, life coach. I don't know, my resume is getting a little bit too long. College professor. This is episode number 64, Haters. I'm knocking stuff over, so let me get these things out of the way. Yeah, this is something that's been happening a lot lately, and I've been trying to figure out how to talk about it. And I started an article, and I stopped it, and then I was going to talk about it on the radio, and I couldn't. By the way, the radio show, I'm shooting this on Tuesday night. The radio show goes live like late Tuesday night / early Wednesday morning. You can listen to it on party934.com, and I'll include the info in it later on. And the show recordings are up on my Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/B Dave Walters. Okay, haters. Here, let me just explain the issue. I keep trying to figure out how to say it right, so let me just tell you what happened, and then you tell me. So, on Facebook, the Bible has its own fan page, like the Bible, right? Like 7.8 million fans, almost 8 million. And there's a fan page that I participate on, the Jesus and Buddha fan page. It's kind of like a multi-spiritual, just everybody can kind of come there and be cool together and talk about religious stuff. And so, the Jesus and Buddha people occasionally post on the Bible page. And of course, they only post Bible verses or whatever as is appropriate, right? And I noticed the way the people on the Bible fan page just totally come down on them, right? And launch like all these like crazy assaults, and they're just really mean and just like all these negative things and going after who they think these Jesus and Buddha fans are and what they think they believe. And it's crazy because they don't really argue back with them. They just kind of turn the other cheek, which is amazing. And I really want to get in and just kind of like tear these people up because I can do that. But I don't, though, because I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to be different, right? Because here's the thing. I normally don't just argue with people for the sake of arguing. The only time I really get into it is if somebody is being hostile or aggressive towards somebody who cannot defend themselves, right? It's almost like a real fight. Like if two grown men are fighting and evenly matched, I don't care. May the best man win. But if 2 or 3 guys are jumping one guy, or if a man's jumping a woman or something, then yes, I have to get involved to break it up. So it's the same thing when it comes to debates. And this just kind of set me to thinking about the internet in general. And I think I might have mentioned this last time because it was on my mind. Or maybe it was on the radio. I got so many outlets, I lose track. And here's the thing. The internet has revolutionized humanity, okay? I saw somebody say that the internet was the closest thing we had to global telepathy, being able to read one another's minds, which is true. And I participate in a lot of different message boards and read things. And have you noticed how mean people are to each other on the internet? I mean, think about this. We have infinite ability to contact billions of other human beings, to talk about anything, to find people that like what we like, to find people that don't like what we like. And what have we really done with that? I mean, the fact that you and I can connect, this is phenomenal, right? The fact that like-minded individuals can get together and we're cool with each other, which is great. But per capita, do you see just how mean and petty and negative and backbiting people are online? And the amazing thing is it's starting to transfer into the real world. There's a generation of people coming out now, leaving college, that their entire life they've had an internet. People my age, I'm 33, but I remember when there wasn't an internet, and I remember when it started, and here we go. They're losing the ability to write, spell, right? Like some people write things that I'm like, is that even English? No, it's not English, right? And just to interact with other human beings and interact with people who might not agree with them. It's kind of like they're losing the ability. I mean, I don't know if you're a sports fan, but go on your average sports website and mention that your team that you like the best. Just mention, I really love this team. And watch what happens. Chances are somebody that likes a rival team is going to jump in about how terrible your team is, how stupid you are for liking them, pending the tone of that individual website, they might start cursing and all these crazy flame wars break out and all this bickering. And it's insane. It's insane. But the reason this started off, how upset I get about this, is particularly with the Bible page, right? You would think if you're going somewhere to talk about the Bible, that should be the safest place on the internet to go and talk about things. I mean, it's not the Christianity page, contrary to what some may believe. It's the Bible page. Lots of religions use the Bible. Lots of people like the Bible even as literature that don't necessarily believe anything at all. They just like it as a collection of literature and moral guidelines and history, right? But people who put themselves out there as spiritual types or as religious types, you would think should be the most warm and welcoming people that there are. And even if you're of the Christian persuasion, you know, I am, but even if your goal is to go out and try and convert the world and lead others to Christ and whatever it is that, you know, you want to do, I can tell you for certain, just attacking them and arguing with them and becoming like belligerent with them when you have no idea who they are is not the way to go about it, right? And that's what makes somebody a hater, okay? That's what makes somebody a hater online. That's what makes somebody a hater in the real world. When they are attacking who they think the other person is and what they think the other person believes without actually taking the time to find out who the other person is and what the other person believes. Does that make sense? Now, I know that you've never done this to anybody because you're cool, right? But maybe you know someone else who's done this, right? Now, I mean, again, for me, in my experience, I can tell you the reason why I don't like getting into these type of arguments online. Now, I'll discuss anything. I'll discuss anything with anybody, and we can even disagree as long as we're discussing it from a position of mutual respect. Okay? Because I comprehend that, you know, you believe what you believe and I believe what I believe, and we can share that without feeling threatened by one another. Does that make sense? Because I'll let you in on a secret. Real belief, real confidence in anything is not threatened by someone who thinks differently. Okay? If you're truly sure about something, then whether or not somebody else believes it really has no impact on you and whether or not you believe it. And you don't feel the need to kind of grab pitchforks and torches to take up this witch hunt. But, again, for me, in my own growth, I don't engage in these conversations because it's probably not going to change anything. I mean, the type of person that wants to start a shouting match with a stranger is not the type of person that's moved by logic and reason. Right? But not only that, I'm going to let you in on a secret. This is my confession. You ready? I'm going to confess something. If I'm not careful, I know I can end up going to this place of, how to say it? I can go to this place of almost, how dare you argue with me? Right? How dare you question me, who knows so much, right? I've spent years studying these things. I went to college and did my undergrad in religion and have been reading religious books for 15 years now, which is true. But that doesn't mean that I have this guaranteed keener insight that someone else has, you know? It doesn't mean that I know any better than anybody else. It just means I might be a little more well-read. And if I'm not careful, I can get into a place of operating out of ego rather than operating out of a place of exchange. Does that make sense? Because when the gears shift from let's try and understand one another to I'm going to publicly make you look stupid, that's not constructive anymore for anybody. It doesn't help them and it doesn't help me, because even if I succeed in making them look stupid, all I've done is fed into my own negative ego. Does that make sense? But this is something that I'm aware of. I'm aware of this. It's kind of like the Incredible Hulk when it's like, don't make me angry because I know what's going to happen. You know, when I feel myself being triggered in that way, we talked in the past about, you know, things that trigger you. When I feel myself being triggered in that way, then I can kind of take a step back. Which is why when I see these flame wars on the Bible fan page, and I can see it posting, and I can see, friends of mine getting attacked, but I don't say anything. I don't say anything because I don't want to go down that road with it. But it's interesting, man. Like, one hand is going for the keyboard, and the other hand's like, don't, right? So, I'm going to let you in on two things. Both how to deal with haters and how to stop being a hater if you find yourself in these situations. Because it can happen to anybody from time to time. You might start off 100% justified and then just sort of mutate right, into the very thing that you were fighting against. Like, in the book of Job, the thing I feared has come upon me. Right? You can become the thing that you're arguing against. Because I would say, 90 to 95% of the world's problems are rooted in this attitude that I have the right way, I have the only right way, and your way is either wrong or evil. Like something I just posted on my Facebook profile today. Hey, shoot me a friend request, by the way. Just look up B. Dave Walters, fan page or friend request. But I'm almost full on friends, so if you're going to do it fast. I posted how there's Republicans that are fighting the legislation that was passed under George W. Bush, mind you. Republicans voted on it, Bush was president, and they passed this legislation to get rid of light bulbs like we have them right now and switch to high efficiency light bulbs that are going to last longer, right? It's going to save the country $12 billion a year. It's going to save the average household $85 a year, and it's kind of going to stop us from destroying the planet. And these people are fighting it. They're resisting it just because they're in this whole, the government can't tell me what to do type thing, Basically, Obama's president, so any laws coming into effect now must be bad. So just fight it. Just at random. I'm not sure how you deal with that. And this is what I posted. I don't know how you reach an arrangement with someone who's truly willing to destroy themselves rather than compromise. But see, here's the problem with this mindset, and the hater mindset in general, is they try to have these boxes where this is true over here, but not true over there. It's very hypocritical. Think about this. The basic argument is, I can buy whatever light bulb I want because I'm free. This is America. I can do what I want. You can't tell me what light bulbs to buy. Rah, Glenn Beck, Michelle Bachmann, blah, blah, blah. Right? But these exact same people will then turn and be anti-gay marriage, say that two other adults can't do what they want. I can do what I want, but these other two adults can't do what they want. Or they'll be all anti-marijuana legalization. Same thing. I can do what I want. I can buy whatever I want, even if it destroys the planet. We can drill off the coast of Alaska, even if it kills all the wildlife, because that's my God-given right as an American. But those people don't have the right to do what they want to do. That's not hurting anybody. And I'm not gay and I don't smoke weed. I got no vested interest in either thing. But I don't care what some other adult does that is not harming anybody else. Right? Do you see how that doesn't make sense? How that you can be like, I'm free, you can't stop me, the government, small government, tyranny, and yet I want other people's personal choices policed. I want other people's decisions policed. I want absolute freedom as long as everybody chooses to do what I think is right. That is the basic argument. And it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Okay? So if you find yourself in this situation where you might be arguing these one-sided arguments, or you find yourself attacking somebody who's not attacking you, or even find yourself attacking somebody who's attacking you, just take a step back and look at it and say, what is it that this person actually believes? Okay? Just stop looking at it in terms of good, bad, right, and wrong, whether or not they agree with you. Because, there are very, very few things in this world that are that black and white, 100% right, wrong, unequivocally. Right? So what is it that they really believe? What is it that they're really trying to say? What is it that they really want? At least try to understand where they're coming from and truly understand their position, even if you don't agree with it. As Aristotle said, the mark of an educated mind is to be able to hold a concept without necessarily agreeing with it. That you can hold something in your mind and consider it without necessarily believing it. Okay? It's a very useful skill to develop, because otherwise it puts you in this position of endless conflict with other people, because there's always going to be people that think differently than you. Everybody else is going to think differently than you because they haven't had your life experience, right? Now the same thing, when somebody's doing this to you, when they're throwing the salt at you, same thing. Look and see, what is it that they're really saying? What is it that they really believe? And what is it that they really want? Okay? Like out of this situation with the Bible thing, I can see these people, I'm sure they really believe these things. If they're willing to, assault strangers, they really believe it. But it's actually kind of sad that they're not able to form relationships that exist outside of their one little bubble. And it's also sad in this particular instance that these are people that are supposed to be Christ's representatives, and so he kind of mentioned again and again that you were supposed to love your neighbor. And it's sad that they are actually causing difficulties and ruptures and actually making Christianity look really, really bad, which makes my work really, really difficult, because a lot of people will turn on religion in general or turn on God because of the behavior of some of these people. But when I see the fact that they're operating out of fear and lack and scarcity, then it actually can help me relate to them with compassion rather than aggression. Does that make sense? It's almost like, I just look at it like they don't know any better. They're not trying to be mean. They're not trying to hurt somebody. I think they really think they're defending their beliefs that are under assault by some non-specific enemy. I don't know, right? But I can frame it in such a way that actually makes me feel compassion for these people rather than aggression. Does that make sense? So when you're confronted with haters, you got to look at that too. Where are they operating out of? Where is this hate coming from? And do they have a valid point? Because haters can sometimes have valid points, right? Maybe when you listen to them, maybe they're not all crazy, right? Maybe everything they say isn't this, insanity that you can just dismiss. Because that's an equally destructive mindset, to just totally dismiss and relegate somebody to the crank file, and you stop hearing anything that they're saying, right? Because those of us who try and hold ourselves to a higher standard, those of us that claim to be of the spiritual or positive thinking variety, are the ones who have to find a way to bridge this gap. To find a way to bring everyone together, or at least coexist in harmony. Which isn't easy, because not everybody wants to coexist in harmony. But we have to still keep trying, and we have to love them either way. Because that's what we were called upon to do, is to still love our neighbor, even when our neighbor's a hater. Okay? So if this is you, stop attacking strangers. Stop attacking what you think is happening, and actually listen and perceive what is actually happening. And if it's happening to you, I don't know, try and find a way to help them understand where you're coming from, or just avoid it. Just ignore them. Like my friends on the Jesus and Buddha page. Just ignore these crazy people. So, yes, gonna go do the radio show right now. By the time you see this, the radio show will be in the can, but the recording will be up on my Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/BDaveWalters. And, I'm doing a blog on BeliefNet. I'm in a competition to become a full-time blogger for them, so that's cool. Check out the link. I'll also put that on the fan page. Alright, you're great. I love you. We'll talk soon. Don't be a hater. And remember, haters are gonna hate. They can't help it, but you can help how you react to it. You should hear my 3-year-old daughter say haters are gonna hate. It's the cutest thing. Alright, I love you. Bye.